Guys, the 8th year anniversary is just upon us, and one of the biggest things for the 8th year anniversary, or really for any anniversary for that matter, is the EZAs. That's right, this is the time when we get some of the biggest, baddest EZAs in the game. Remember last year for 7th year anniversary? Those were absolutely insane when it came to the 3rd years and the 4 years that we could see some pretty hype things. So today we, and I'm not just by myself here, are going to be talking about the possibilities of the 8th year anniversary EZAs. So like I said, I'm not alone. I'm here with one of my good buddies. Say hello, Mr. Gale Riot.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? How's everybody doing today? I'm very much looking forward to the EZAs that are going to be coming out during the 8th anniversary because there are some very, very interesting candidates, especially from the Majin Buu saga side. But nonetheless, even I think there are some good possible options from the GT side. So it's going to be a good celebration, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do with these EZAs.
Absolutely 100%. There are plenty of EZAs ranging from, just our sub EZAs all the way up to LRs that could be possibly EZA during the celebration. So we're pretty hype about it. We've all been kind of scheming in the background like what could it be. So let's go ahead and we're going to dive right into it, guys. So let's first start off with the Majin Buu saga because I feel, and I'm pretty sure Gale, you could also, oblige me in this. There's a lot more depth when it comes to the Majin Buu saga units and what we could see EZA'd. So let's go ahead and dive into probably one of the ones that's the most anticipated, and I hope you don't mind I'm taking this one. Physical Vegito. My word, this guy needs an EZA. He's one of the ones that is probably the older of the TURs or Dokkan Fest that have not been EZA'd yet. And honestly, it was one of my favorite units back in the day. Gale, what do you think about it?
I mean, he is the oldest unit not to get an EZA, actually, funnily enough. He is literally the oldest TUR not to get an EZA, or Dokkan Fest, I should say. So it's his EZA should have come out yesterday, to be quite honest. But yeah, no, I'm going to be very excited to see what they do with him. His core kit looks very strong generally as well. When he first came out, right? A lot of people liked him because of the damage reduction he gets and all that jazz. Obviously, I do hope they do. I mean, even now, when you use AGL Super Vegito, he can be run in certain situations, right? As long as you don't place him in front of like super attacks, right? Which, especially with the Scouter effect, is, very easily doable, right? Obviously, this physical Super Vegito will have to be even better than him, in all honesty. So I'm very curious to see what they do with him. I think he can be designed extremely well, but yeah, he's definitely one of the more exciting options for sure.
Absolutely agreed. And again, he's one of the biggest units that came out back in the day, and obviously everybody's been wanting this EZA. I mean, it's crazy to think that we got STR cooler EZA before we got physical Super Vegito. So yeah, very, very surprised by that. There was also a duo that you brought up, and honestly, I had completely forgotten about them because I barely used them. Go ahead and talk about the Tech Buu and obviously Int Gotenks.
Yeah, the Golden Week units. I mean, they are pretty old now as well. They are, I would say they're now nearly 3 years old, actually. They'll become 3 years old in April or something, right? Because they were the Golden Week units for 2020, if I recall correctly. So they are due for an EZA. Obviously, I know a lot of people might be thinking they're still kind of recent in the grand scheme of things, right? But if units for example, Cooler, and for example, when we had the 6th anniversary, right? We had Frieza and the LR Goku and Frieza EZAing, and they were only 2 years old at that time or something like that, right? So there is no real limit, I guess, when it comes to EZAs. Of course, I assume they wouldn't EZA units releasing in the last year, basically, but I do believe these guys and another dual Dokkan Fest are bound for an EZA, and I wouldn't be surprised if they drop them in this upcoming celebration. And especially because we are also getting a Gotenks banner unit, right? Would kind of fit, especially with that, right? So we'll have to just wait and see for sure on that.
Honestly, the funny thing about it is that these are actually older than we think. I thought about it too, and I went back to actually look at the release dates. These released on JP in April of 2020. So
yeah, nearly 3 years old.
Yeah, these guys definitely need a little bit of an upgrade. So I could definitely see them happening. And you did mention another two dual Dokkan Fest, and honestly, I think we know exactly who we're talking about here.
Yeah, the SJ2 Goku and Majin Vegeta from New Year's of 2020. So they are actually 3 years old in comparison to the Golden Week units. They're just a bit older than them. So again, really would be fitting for them to get an EZA now, especially out of all times, and especially because the theme is still technically. I mean, I know the theme is Spirit Bomb, but I mean, if you look at the units that we are getting, it's Goku and Vegeta still. So it would fit in extremely well to give us Goku and Vegeta, because they may want to save the Gotenks and the Evil Boo for like maybe a new Gotenks Dokkan Fest or something like that, or Gotenks LR. But of course, because it's Goku and Vegeta, this would be an opportune time for them to basically do something with Angel Goku and SJ2 Angel Goku and SJ2 Vegeta for sure.
Absolutely 100% on that. And to think about it also with this as well, like the teams that these two lead kind of do need the boost a little bit. I mean, think about it. Otherworld Warriors, the only other big lead is that physical Frieza. And so it's kind of like he's getting a little bit older, and you know, we kind of need a little bit of an upgrade into those categories. Not only that, but with that Goku, you know, we do need an upgrade in the Super Saiyan 3 category, so it works out. And then if you look at Vegeta's, the Super Saiyan 2 category, he is the only lead for Super Saiyan 2s.
Yeah.
That's bonkers to me. He definitely needs an upgrade. And then you think about, you know, Resurrected Warriors, they did just get in Golden Frieza, but it's not that big of an upgrade. So
yeah,
I definitely think that those two are good choices for EZAs as well.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, there are some other options that we have. Do you want to go over some of the LR options that we have? Because, of course, now that we have basically set a precedent with Year 6 and Year 7, we are bound to get some LR EZAs as well. Who do you think is going to be our LR EZA options for this 8th anniversary?
Well, I think one of the biggest sets, or the dual Dokkan Fest that is like really prevalent and kind of really works in this situation as well, is obviously STR Vegito and Physical Boo. Like, these guys, you know, like they're still prevalent in today's age, but think of it this way. These guys came out same time on both versions in August of 2020. Again, another 3-year-old unit. We need some upgrades to these guys. They're definitely not terrible, but we've seen crazier things, obviously, when it came to, you know, certain units getting EZAs. So I would not be surprised in the slightest if I saw these two get an EZA during the celebration.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they are a very good candidate, and I know a lot of people are leaning towards more so the 5th anniversary units getting an EZA, right? Because let's be real, even if they may not relate to the theme of the celebration, they are due for an EZA. They are pretty much, well, I mean, of course, we also have the Gobros to get an EZA, right?
Oh, if they give Gobros an EZA. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's my favorite unit, and I cannot wait. Or not my favorite unit, but one of my top 5, and I cannot wait till it gets an EZA so I can shove it down everybody's throat. I'm just saying, man.
The thing is, they are also likely to get an EZA, actually. The Gobros is, they're very likely to get an EZA, right? The Gohan and Goten, because they are part of the Majin Buu Saga category, even though retroactively they've stopped doing that for the Broly movies and stuff, giving them Majin Buu Saga. These guys are still part of the Majin Buu Saga, so technically they are likely. But I do think the 5th anniversary units are also extremely likely, purely because if they really want to do the same thing as last time, right, where there's Dokkan Fest LRs getting EZA and there's 4 of them, you know, we had the Gogeta Vegito and then the Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, right, from 3-year and 4-year respectively. I think they're gonna have to bring in the fusion somehow, even if they don't relate to the theme necessarily. They may have to bring them in. Maybe part 2 might be fusions, who knows? But yeah, that's what I think as well. I think the 5th anniversary is likely. Do you think there's anybody else in terms of the LRs from Majin Buu Saga you think is a likely candidate? Because I mean, we I think only have I think Angel Vegeta and the Gobros are the only 2 other LRs outside of the worldwide download celebration units to not get an EZA, right?
But yeah, I could definitely see physical Super Saiyan 2 Angel Vegeta getting an EZA as well. He was a pretty hype unit, and honestly, I really like his OST, so I'm kind of biased to see him actually get that EZA. So I'd be really, really happy with that.
Yeah, I think also it kind of fits in with the whole he needs a Goku on the team and stuff like that, because the new LR is obviously SJ3 Goku and SJ2 Vegeta, right? So it fits in extremely well, and if he gets an EZA, it'll go extremely well along with this. Now, of course, we also have to look at the GT side of things, right? Because as much as, the Majin Buu saga has all the units, I do think there are going to be some EZAs from the GT side, right? One of the biggest candidates, and probably the only two candidates, I should say. I forgot about the other one again, because even before the recording started, we actually spoke about him and I forgot about him again. But the two candidates from the GT side of things is, of course, well, first and foremost, LR Baby, the oldest EZA, one of the older LRs to not get an EZA, I should say, and very likely to get an EZA. I know some people are expecting a Baby Dokkan Fest in the near future, but I think, if they aren't planning it in the near future, I think this is the perfect opportune time to for them to do this. What do you think, Tystra?
Oh, absolutely. Like, as soon as I saw 8th anniversary was going to be that dual fest of like Majin Buu Saga and GT, my mind instantly went to LR Baby getting an EZA, to be honest, because like that's one of the top picks. We look at LR Baby here. LR Baby came out in 2019, so it's 4 years old. It definitely needs that upgrade, like we were just talking about, and it's probably the biggest contender for it. Although I will say there is the slight difference between the Baby Saga and the Shadow Dragon Saga, but at this point, I don't think they're gonna care because of how small the pool for GT is when it comes to even just TURs in general.
Yep, absolutely.
So the only other LR that I could possibly see getting an EZA, which is kind of a stretch because it is only 2 years old, is the Tech Super 17. Now again, he's not that old, but his kit just doesn't entirely work in today's meta. I think with a little bit of bolstering in the passive, I think that he could actually fit in really, really well. But right now, as it stands, it might be a stretch for it because, again, he's not that old of a unit comparatively to the units that we talked about previously.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Super 17, when he first came out, I remember everybody was questioning why he didn't have stuff like the, nullifying key blast supers or anything of that sort, right? Which they had introduced in that update, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or they had put it in the files of the game, but they didn't use it for the Super 17. They then used it for Janemba and Super Gogeta instead, right? For Tanabata. Instead, we got this kit effectively. So I think it wouldn't be a miss for them to just easy him right now just to get him out of the way and make him viable for various teams, right? But of course, along with these LRs, I do think there are some TUR options as well. When I say some TUR options, one TUR option is very likely. The other two, not so much because they're kind of like the Super 17. So the first option and the main option is obviously SSJ for Gogeta, of course, the Int one. I think this guy would be an amazing EZA candidate. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how well he can perform. And, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets an EZA, honestly. He would be so good with an EZA.
Oh, absolutely. And, a lot of the Gogeta fanboys out there would be so happy that if, physical Vegito was getting one, or any of those types of units, that Int Gogeta would be out there. Coming out in October of 2020 on the JP side, he is older, so it makes sense for him to be over there. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. We've seen crazier EZAs, like we saw, with the Cooler celebration, seeing EZA STR Cooler, and then right afterwards AGL Metal Cooler. Like, that was bonkers. Yep. So it's not out of the realm of possibility to see this guy get an EZA as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other TUR Dokkan Fest options that we have, this one is a little less likely purely because they're so recent. And yes, they have aged quite a bit, arguably. They are candidates, but they are also still relatively newer units. So the units I'm going to be talking about are, of course, the Golden Week units of 2021, the SSJ Goku and SSJ Vegeta. I don't know. I don't see these guys getting an EZA, but I can see it also happening at the same time. It's one of those things like, I don't see it happening, but I also see it happening. You know what I mean, Tystra?
Oh, absolutely. And again, we talk about the hype of just units getting EZAs and unexpected ones. This would be the most unexpected surprise when it comes to the 8th anniversary. We have a pool of units that could be EZA'd. And honestly, I don't think all of these guys are going to get EZA'd on the same celebration. Otherwise, it would be so lopsided with Majin Buu Saga taking like the reins of everything.
They would have like 10.
However, I do think that they're not out of the realm of possibility. Granted, yes, they're only about 2 years old. In some or actually, I think in the wait, no, they came out at the same time. I'm dumb. But they are only 2 years old. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but it's very highly unlikely, just like with Super 17. But if they did get an ECA, could you imagine how cracked these two would be?
Oh, they would be amazing, especially because they're nukers, right? So they would be unbelievably strong.
Oh, absolutely.
No, there would be great options for sure. They would be amazing options. But yeah, in terms of GT, outside of those 3, 4, 5 candidates, basically, you know, we've spoken about Boo Saga having like 10, and I think we missed some as well. Like, for example, I think there's also a chance of the Transforming Boo getting an EZA, right? The STR Transforming Boo, a unit that everybody forgets, right? He's also possible. But when it comes to GT, with there being so few options, more of the options actually come from the sub-EZA side of things. You have the SJ3 Kid Goku, the Great Ape one, the AGL one. You have the SJ3 Vegeta, STR Super Saiyan Trunks, Fizz Pan. I think there are more sub-EZA candidates for GT than there are actually main EZA candidates for GT, which is also kind of okay because a lot of those units can be amazing supports for the GT team, which is kind of needed, and especially depending on how good the new GT LR is. If, say, they're slot 1, you have the Fizz SJ Force from last year being a slot 2 unit, Pan maybe in there as well as an option, then all of these sub-EZAs can be great floating options, assuming they're done correctly. But yeah, what else do you think is possible in terms of EZAs? Do you think there's any outside shot for you, Tystra, or do you think we've covered everything?
Honestly, I don't think there's too many outside shots outside of the categories that we talked about. The only ones that I could really see that could get those EZAs outside of Majin Buu Saga and, you know, GT Saga is what we talked about with the 5th year anniversary units. And I don't think that they'll pull a double like they did last time, where we got the 3rd year and the 4th year in the same anniversary. I don't think they'll do that with 5th and 6th year because it's still like it was a little bit more catching up, I think, in that regard. But I wouldn't even rule that out as a possibility. Like, especially when we're talking about units that are only 2 years old. If we think about it, 2 years ago was 6th year anniversary. So it's highly possible that we could, or not highly possible, it is possible to see the 6 year LRs get that EZA as well. And really the only other like sub EZA that I could see happening that's within GT that we didn't mention was that STR GT Goku that hasn't EZA'd, hasn't really done anything, never see him on any teams, never see him in really any showcases. So it's highly possible that we could see him get an EZA, but that's really all I could see, to be honest.
But yeah, let us know in the comment section down below, what do you guys want to see? What EZAs are you guys looking forward to the most in this upcoming anniversary? And let us know if you missed out on some options for sure, because I'm pretty sure, you know, when you're going through all these categories and links, it's hard to see like every unit. That's why when I actually saw the STR Transforming Boo, I was like, oh yeah, we forgot about him. But yeah. Let us know in the comments what you guys want to see in terms of the 8th anniversary EZAs and stuff. And of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, everybody.
Thank you so much, guys. Be safe.